Good afternoon. Wellness gathering. Well, we're taking responsibility of our well-being through the core principles of, I always get that mixed up, to the principles of the core alignment, focusing on the wonderment of movement. And I hope everybody is moving. Okay, Lynn.
Yes, movement. Movement is key, right? So, yes, so here we are today. We're going to be, well, we're going to start with the question. And the question for today is, what is something that other people do that gets your attention and you wish you could do too? So my name is Lynn and I'm in Calgary. And something that other people do that gets my attention that I wish I could do too. Well, that's interesting. Well, I guess what gets my attention is when I hear about fascinating trips that people take. I get excited for them when they share their where they've been or just their impetus to want to go somewhere and explore different places. I get that gets my attention and I wish I could do that too, but it isn't something that I'm choosing. So it's like, yeah. How about you, Don Marie?
I'm Dawn Marie, and I'm from Sacramento, California. And Oprah Winfrey gets my attention and how she commands the audience. People just, when she opens her mouth, people are like mesmerized by what comes out of her mouth.
How about you, Olive?
Gosh, I was hoping I was the last to answer because I'm having trouble with this one. My name is Olive. I'm in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. What do people do that I wish I could do? Um, Run a marathon.
Mm.
I admire people who can run a marathon. I just don't think it's in the cards for me.
Got it. Got it. How about you, Madeline?
I'm Madeline. I'm in Calgary, Alberta. What gets my attention, my very first thought was speaking a different language. And I'm not even going to say foreign language because, they're foreign to us. So it's only that perspective. But speaking a different language, and I hear tons of like, you go out to the grocery, our neighbors speak a different language. And I've been I've tried to speak French and I don't retain it. I've tried. And so I wish that was in the cards for me. I admire people who can have several languages under their belt.
Mhm.
Cool. Yeah. How about you, Lorraine?
I'm Lorraine and I'm in Wausau, British Columbia, and something that I gets my attention, but I wish I could other people do. Now, that is difficult for me. I'm not quite sure. At this point in time, I've done pretty well everything I needed to do. I think perhaps philosophize more. I really enjoy listening to points of view and arguments and debates. And lately, I've been listening to a couple on of course YouTube, and I'm just fascinating of how they can rattle off words that aren't in our my mind. And proclivity. Now, do you know what proclivity is?
No. We might have to look that one up.
I had to look it up. It's a tendency.
A tendency.
It's rather than saying tendency, you say proclivity.
I see.
So words like that just where they come from?
That's cool. Yeah. So debates and well, maybe we can take that proclivity into our time today because we're going to be, well, wait for maybe Olive to return. She probably had something to take care of here. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at the concept of guards and gatekeepers. And today we're going to be focusing on what they call our willing guards. And we're going to spend the next little bit of time that we have here recognizing the defenses that we naturally use, the voices of our guards, and the role that they are playing. And our intention is to create more awareness around the things that our guards say to defend us, or that I use to defend me, to accept the position of our guards, and to show us how to use your guards to support you more. So our guards are other people's statements that we utilize on a regular basis. And they are, hence with this first question of, something other people do that gets my attention that I wish I could do too, are usually something that my guards have put in there for me. So what are some characteristics that you see other people do that you wish you could have? Lorraine?
People's characteristics.
Yeah.
Physically or
anything. First thing that comes up. First thought, best thought, no thought.
I think characteristics.
Well, you were talking about philosophizing and debates and things.
Yeah.
So what are the characteristics that they have that you wish you
I think the characteristics that they're open-minded and they're willing to learn, and they dig deep into the meaning of things. And I admire that. I think. Okay, I want to hear somebody else.
That's good. So open-minded.
Yeah, open-minded.
Digging deep.
Yeah.
How about you, Madeline?
Characteristic that I admire. I think that is the question, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
That I admire. A
That you wish that you could maybe have, right? Like
that I wish that I could have. I think a characteristic, being able to laugh at things more. I think that is something that I strive for.
Got it. How about you, Olive?
The characteristic that I'm going to go with is stick. There's probably a word for it. Madeline, you might know the word, the stick-to-itness.
That's a good word. Stick-to-itness.
That's an Oliver original. But to follow through, to be well, yeah, that's what I come up with, to follow through on an intention.
Got it. This stick-to-itness.
Yeah.
So, how about you, Dawn Marie?
I would say yesterday I was at a play and there were two actors and they had to retain their lines for 2.5 hours to be able to deliver the script. And I was so fascinated that they were able to memorize their lines for that long and be able to, engage the audience all the time while they were doing it.
Wow.
So memorizing and retaining lines.
Cool. Yeah. It's interesting that we're on language, or like mostly looking at, how we're communicating, and really it's so much comes out through our words. So when I think of characteristics that I really appreciate, that I wish I could have in others, this articulate nature of being able to just present themselves without a script, without anything, just to get up and speak their truth and their mind and whatever it is they're presenting. So what are some traits that you have that you think other people appreciate? Lorraine?
What I think people appreciate some of the things I have. I think I always get comments, and especially from Dawn Marie, how prompt I can be with if I've said, I'm going to send something to her, it's there. And if somebody's going to if I suggest that we're going to do something, I do it. So it's promptness.
Got it. How about you, Madeline?
That I have a fairly even temperament. I think that's what others have told me I'm good at.
Got it. How about you, Olive?
I think I have a good sense of humor and I'm able to laugh at myself.
Got it. How about you, Dawn Marie?
I would have to say very patient with people. I tend to not overreact when a situation arises. I just sit back and kind of, figure it out in my head before I say anything. And so I think my patience is what people have said that they appreciate about me.
Got it. So we're going to go into another question. So, what is a complaint that you have had about other people? How about you, Mom? You're laughing. What's a complaint that you have about other people? Lorraine?
The complaint that I have about other people?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, don't open that door.
Lid on that.
Come on, these are our willing
this
hearts.
I have a lot of judgment. So I guess I've been listening to too much politics.
And what would that judgment be? Like just one, just for
My
fun.
judgment is they're a whole bunch of stupid nuts. They don't say anything that's concrete, and you can't get anything from. So don't get me started.
I got it. That's good. That's good. How about you, Madeline?
I think when a situation arises and the emotion that is demonstrated doesn't fit with the situation, like concern, anger for concern, something like that. It is like, it's obviously something that they've learned, but it's like, you're an adult. You should understand that having compassion, you don't have to be angry, you just need to have compassion. So I think when people don't have their emotions, when they have no control, I guess, I don't even know what the right word is, but when they misidentify their emotions for the situation, that's what I get upset about.
Got it. Got it. How about you, Olive?
Well, I get annoyed when people with no medical background give medical advice.
Got it. How about
I'm
you,
not going to name names. It's nobody in this group.
Thank God.
Oh, thank God.
Right.
Got it. How about you, Dawn Marie?
I would say being unorganized. I hate to arrive at a event or a meeting of some sort and the people aren't prepared and we're having to sit around and wait and give them their time to set up after we've arrived on time and everybody is there and they come in and they don't have their stuff in order.
Yes. So these are when we look at these statements, right? They're really important parts of our being, right? How we're processing. I mean, our guards are our other people's statements, and we use them all the time. There are other people always, or when people aren't prepared or when people give metal, it's like, those are what they call our willing guards. And our guards are usually busy protecting us, They're protecting us from what we feel, think, and believe. So when we are aware of those feelings and beliefs, we don't need to have them protect us anymore. We can see them for what they are. We can have a good chuckle about them and recognize them. And so the things that you say about other people are the things that our subconscious says to guard us, actually. And when we know what our guards say, then we are more able to recognize them when they show up in our words, in our language, when we're sharing. And so part of it is there is more of a process that goes along with this, but I'm giving a little bit of it because in any conflict that I might say I have a conflict with someone, and if I really am able to go through that conflict, I can see and hear all the things by taking an outside perspective around what did they say, what did I say, what did they say next, and really see all these statements that we get charged up about when we're in conflict. And that's what our willing guards are there for. I mean, they call them guards and gatekeepers, and so there are other people's statements. And I just wanted to give a smattering of that. So what do you guys notice with some of the statements that we've shared? Dawn Marie?
I guess being a little judgy to some degree because, we don't know. For me, the unorganized individual, I don't know what they may have had to deal with prior to showing up. And, they're doing their best that they could do. At least they did show up. And so maybe just being a little judgmental and not knowing the full story behind why they're unorganized.
How about you, Olive?
What have I noticed about the statements we've been giving? Is
Yeah.
that what?
Yeah.
Well, I've noticed that with my statement anyway, I think it stems from my mother who had a 100-year-old book in her cupboard that dealt with every medical condition ever known to man. And if you had a pain in your toe, she got this book out and told you what was wrong with you.
That's cool. How about you, Madeline? What do you notice?
What I notice, it's easier to take that third person perspective. It's when you recognize it and look at it from that angle, it's easier to not have it trigger you. It is easier to sit back and be more able to understand it, I think, or at least acknowledge where it came from for myself, where it came from for me. So I don't jump into a reaction. I kind of it's easier to respond in a way that is back off, not attack or be judgmental about it. So it evens it out a little bit, I think, for me.
Got it. How about you, Lorraine?
What I noticed is I can get very irate on things. And I realize when I get my body or my mind and my blood boiling, I need to sit back and say, now, it doesn't belong to me. And I'm going to go out into nature and look at the hummingbirds eat from the feeder. And I have to pull myself back to the environment that I'm in and the present moment. And anyway, so I just have to have that check on that boiling feeling. And I know it doesn't belong to me, it belongs to them. but down the road, it could affect me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it is interesting. Kate would call that a grounding and reality check.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have, I have to give myself a little bit of a grounding and reality check. And if I am really triggered by something, it's like, who does this belong to? And where did this come from? And why is this coming into my field? And I didn't even, have that in my awareness before. And in other work, they call those distractor implants. They're ways of distracting us from the potency of who we really are and take away from what, how aware we really are. And so our intention for our time today is to create awareness around these willing guards and to have acceptance so that you'll have the ability to awaken to more resourceful choices instead of allowing your guards to block you. So now when you hear your guards, you'll be able to respond more wisely. So what is something that will support you from our conversation today until we talk again? Lorraine?
What will support me till we talk again? I think it just having acknowledging all the questions that we went through and the importance of grounding and living the present moment. And because I'm me and I have to be with me.
So, Madeline?
What I will take with me that will support me until we talk again. Well, remembering that those gatekeepers are there to help us and to acknowledge that we develop them ourselves, that they belong to us, and that we have the power to have a more understanding around what they're doing for us.
Olive?
What I will take is that people are free to express their opinions. I don't have to take their advice or listen to their opinions, or I guess I have to listen to them, but I don't have to take their advice.
How about you, Dawn Marie?
I would have to say that the guards and the gatekeepers, what I will take away from this until we meet again is that the guards and the gatekeepers are sent to help us. And if we pay attention and hear and obey, then we won't get so defensive or so judging about a situation. We can, like Lorraine said, step back and really take a look at the situation and know that it's not for me. And because it's not for me, I don't have to take it on and just let it go in one ear and out the other and not let it affect me.
Yeah. Yes. Very cool. Well, what I take with me is more awareness around this concept of willing guards. And I remember it being explained to me around, there's guards at the castle. If you think of Buckingham Palace, and there's these guys with the big black hats, and they're there to actually decide, does this want to come in, or who's going to come in and who's not going to come in. So they're really there to support me, and they're there to support my yes and my no and my awareness of my boundaries. And that sometimes they're a flag for me to have more awareness around what's happening, and also have more awareness around what I can change in myself and what is not mine. So that's what I take away. So what will you take away that'll support you for the rest of your life? Dawn Marie?
What I will take away from this that will support me for the rest of my life is an awareness to the guard and the gatekeeper's role for me to help me to live a life that is a little less stressful. I am all worked up over a situation where I don't have to be. So if I could just remember that they've been sent to help me to live my best life without taking on an additional area of stress.
Cool. Olive?
I will take that it's up to me to establish my own gatekeepers and safeguards, that I shouldn't expect someone else to put those in place for me.
What about you, Madeline?
What I will take with me that will support me for the rest of my life. Well, I like the addition of boundaries that you said, Lynn, and I'm not really very good at boundaries. I just am open to whatever is going on. And sometimes that's really good, but sometimes it can be really not good. So I appreciate the remembering that aspect of it. And guards are something that we are, you know, are our protection. And that's a really valid thing to remember, I think, because, you know, we think we're the center of the universe and always always think everybody knows everything about us. And it's not true. Like hardly anybody is looking at us the way we think they are. And so that becomes, you know, the thing that is like, well, why should I take it on? Exactly what everyone has said. So I appreciate the reminder of all of that.
Yeah, awesome. Lorraine?
And what I'll take to that will support me the rest of my life is the fact that it's my responsibility to be who I am and not be concerned about everything that can trigger my emotions. And I think it's a greater reminder of just being you, just being just who you are, and enjoy that. So
Awesome. Yeah. Being You, Changing the World. That's a
Yeah.
really good book if anybody wants it. Awesome. Well, how does it get any better? I'm looking forward to the next one because we're going to be doing strong gatekeepers next.
Yahoo.
Okay. Thank you very much. It was very good.